So I know what some of you are thinking. These thrift shops in small towns just don't have anything to offer, right? Well, you might be wrong. And in this video, if you stick around, I'm going to give you a few tips or maybe just one big secret of how you can score big at small town thrift. What's up, everybody? I'm Josh. This is Bama Jaybird Resell. Welcome to the channel. And in this episode, like I said, we're going to be talking about small town thrift. And I've got a quick example right now to show you of the kind of success that you can have at small town thrift. Now, I'm telling you this because I live in a very rural area and thrifting is sometimes hard. I've got to drive an hour to get to a larger town. So I've got a couple of small towns, including the one that I live in, that have a little small thrift shop, and I do really good at those shops. And I've been successful over the long term at them, I think, because of the reasons I'm going to share with you. And so I'm going to try to help you out with that. If you live in a small rural area, or if you live in a bigger town and you're looking for a new source of good inventory, you can maybe branch out into some of the small communities and use this advice to help you. Let's take a look at a couple of things right quick. All right, so, oh yeah, this is, by the way, of course, the sunglasses is what I'm going to show you, but this is one of my guitars. This is a D35 Martin. It's a really beautiful guitar, sounds amazing. It's got the 3-part back on it, 3-piece. You hear a pick rattling in it. I dropped the pick and it went right through the sound hole. I got to shake that out of there. But anyway, I do play guitar and sing a little bit. I sing at church, really enjoy it. But so when I was at my local thrift, one of my 2 local thrifts that I go to, they had these sunglasses sitting on the counter. Now, if you'll notice, you probably saw the Brighton here. These are our Money Exchange, Kate Spade, and the ones in this pack are Oscar de la Renta. Now, these aren't huge dollar sunglasses, but they are kind of designer brands, and these were all sitting up there priced, if they were with the case, at $10. If they were not in the case, they were priced at $7. And there were a couple of pair I wasn't interested in. Some of these are vintage. Some of these still have the tags on them, like these our Money Exchange do. These Brighton, they're really nice. They still got the old receipt and stuff in the box. This one's got the receipt from where it was purchased. So I asked the lady at the front if she would do a deal on them, and she came back and said if I bought them all, she'd take $40. Well, of course, I said I'd be glad to do that, and I got, again, this pair of Kate Spade, kind of somewhat like a cat eye. They're called Hello Sunshine. They're probably going to be like $30. Trying to get these Oscars out. This is Oscar de la Renta. These probably ain't worth about 15 or 20 bucks. The 2 are Money Exchange. I'm hoping to get maybe $30 to $40 a piece for these, since they still have the tags on them. And then these 2 Brighton, they're a little bit better. This has the removable pieces on the frames. You can see the Brighton heart. And again, this pair, really nice. I like the color on these. My wife liked these a lot. There's the heart again on the leg. On these, I'm expecting to get at least 50 a piece, but the real gem was this right here. So take a look at this. I know you're wondering, why are you showing me sunglasses? Well, take a look at this. So this is a pair of vintage Chanel Jackie O style. These are 1995 Chanel. So you can see on the leg right here. Now, when I looked these up, I'll be honest with you, I knew Chanel's good. I've sold a pair of Chanel shoes, but I've not found anything else Chanel except for some perfumes. I did find some perfumes. So when I looked this stuff up, specifically those Chanel glasses, the only pair of the Jackie O style that I found vintage that it sold, and that's because I don't think there's but one other pair listed right now, but the only pair sold for almost $400. So, you know, like I said, there are great deals. I'm not saying every time you go into a small town thrift, it's going to just be bursting with, you know, amazing items. But especially if you go into some of these small towns that serve kind of like as retirement community areas, you may be surprised at some of the people that move into these areas, live in these areas, that maybe do have more money than what you would expect and buy higher end items, and therefore the donations, when they do happen, are higher end. Now, again, there's going to be less donations, less frequently, and you've got to really, you know, make regular stops. You don't have to stay a long time. That's one of the first tips I'll give you. Always take time to stop. All right, so like I said, it's always important to take time to stop in. That's the number 1 tip. Make frequent stops. always show support. You know, when I stop by my local thrifts, I always try to buy at least one thing. Even if I don't find anything terrific, even if it's something that I throw in the donation pile, I try to always buy something while I'm in there. And that's really important, I think, because I'm going to get to the overall theme here in a minute. But it's just important to show support. Now, number two, be sure to engage with the staff, including the managers, including the owner if it's a small shop. Sometimes in these small mom and pop style thrift shops, it's just an owner and an owner's relative, or it's just a couple of employees. It's not very many people. And it doesn't take long if you put forth the effort to get to know people. And that's really important. So engage with them, be friendly. You know, I would say this, to become a friend, you have to show yourself a friend. And so try to be friends with people. I mean, there's no reason not to be friendly anyway, right? We should be out there, you know, spreading joy and smiling and trying to brighten people's days no matter what. You know, one of the reasons I love reselling is because of the flexibility it gives me. It makes my life less encumbered, and it does bring a certain amount of joy. And you know, my true joy doesn't just come from that, and I wouldn't never say that. But it's important that we share, you know, a little bit of happiness when we're out there in the world. I think there's a lot of people discouraged, and if we build those connections and with the staff and the owners and the workers that are on the floor, it will help you in the long run. Now, the third thing I would say is be honest about what you do. Now, I'm not saying go in there wearing a sign or a hat that says, "Hey, I'm a reseller," you know, on day one when you walk in. But, you know, as you start to build some rapport with the people that are there, and they begin to get curious because maybe of the amount of stuff that you buy and the frequency with which you buy it, don't hide the fact that you resell. Just be open. Don't be ashamed of it. You know, I got asked again at one of my local shops by a new person that was in there who had seen me come in a couple times recently and didn't know. They said, "Do you resell or something? Do you sell?" And I said, I do. I sure do. And they asked me a couple questions, and I answered them in a very positive context. They were just curious. Now, the third thing I would say is, if you haven't yet reached the point that I'm going to talk to at the end, is even early on, don't be afraid to ask. I mean, a small town, they're not governed. So small town thrift shops generally, and, you know, I'm not talking about, you know, a Goodwill in a small town now. I'm talking about true small town thrift. I'm talking about mom and pop style shops, charity shops, stuff like that, that you know are kind of individually owned. Don't be afraid when you go in to ask about bundle deals, kind of like if you're at a yard sale, like if you buy in bulk, you know, will I get a certain discount? If you see a collection of something that was donated, you know, and it's all priced individually, don't be afraid to ask for a price for the lot of items, because you may be surprised that oftentimes they're more than willing to give you a price and they're not offended by it. And if they don't want to change the price, that's fine. You don't have to push the issue, but just asking in a kind way, that should never be a problem. The point is that small town shops is a very good strategy to still ask about bundle deals, to ask about, you know, bulk deals and stuff like that. You might be surprised, like I said. The last little point I'm going to make is, don't be afraid to make an offer, okay? Don't be afraid to make an offer on something you see that you think would be a really good, profitable item if the price was where you need it to be. So what I've done in the past is I examine the margin, and you know, everybody's got different ideas of what their margin is, but based on, you know, my understanding of my store and my desire profit-wise, I look at what margin I need to have on that item, and I will make an offer that allows me that margin. And, you know, if they take it, great. If they don't want to take it, that's fine. I'm never upset. And I don't try to offer a price that will upset them. Again, I try to make a fair offer. Now, if they got it priced up so high that even my offer at a fair margin for me is going to seem like a lowball offer, I won't even bother. But if it's close enough that I think, you know, I can say, if it's $75, I say, look, I can do 50 on this, but I can't do 75. Then I'll throw it out there and just see what happens. And I'll say, look, no obligation. I'm just telling you, that's what I would have to be in it at in order for me to be able to flip it and have the right margin to be able to make some money. And so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid at all, but be fair with the offers that you make. Now, let me show you a few other things that I got the same day that I got the sunglasses. So this is an awesome story. I went into my local thrift, and outside of it, I wasn't even going to stop. I was in town running some other errands, but I try to stop most of the time when I'm there, just as, again, supporting the store. And I saw some racks outside on the concrete that had $1 today only. I thought, well, they got dollar racks out. I'll stop in and check it out and see what's going on. And I know a lot of you don't source clothing, and that's fine. You don't have to source clothing. I've said this a lot on my channel. I would rather not be sourcing clothing myself, but you got to source what's available. And oftentimes in my area, I find more opportunity to buy clothing than I do other things. So I stop there. I go to the dollar racks, and guys, I'm blown away by what I'm seeing. I'm combing through these dollar racks, and everything on the racks is Eileen Fisher, Lily Pulitzer, Anthropology, Free People. I mean, it's these top tier brands, you know. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, the absolute best of best brands, but these are good brands. These are good, solid brands to buy for resale. And there was so much, there were 4 racks out there, and they were just filled. There was also a lot of Polo Ralph Lauren, and we're not talking about just your basic run-of-the-mill stuff in that brand. We're talking about some of the really high-end stuff. Some vintage stuff, some Denim and Supply Company stuff, and like we're talking about Peacoat, you know, like things that you know that when you get them for $1, you've got all kinds of room on the margin to make a profit and still be able to move it fast. And so I started combing through it. Let me show you a few of the things I got. I'm not sure exactly how many items. I maybe will give you an update on that if I remember. I'm bad about not remembering. But if I remember in a future video, I'll let you know how many pieces I bought. I'm actually going back again today, so it may go up anyhow. But I'm pretty sure I got 5 bags. I put it in like these black garbage bags, just old tie bags. I got 5 bags full of clothes. I'm pretty sure there was at least 15 items or more in each bag. So I think I got somewhere between 75 and 100 items, maybe closer to 100 items of clothing. I got 5 pair of shoes, including a pair of Hokas, and I got 5 or 6 PS1 games and 4 or 5 Xbox 360 games. I got all of that and the sunglasses for $100. Now, I actually gave them $140. But see, I'm going to tell you the rest of the story in just a minute. Let me show you some of the stuff I got. So just take a look. I'm going to show you just a couple of things. So this is a Ralph Lauren Polo Jeans Company, Lauren Jeans Company, vintage corduroy women's dress jacket. Let's see, just pick a few things out. This is another Ralph Lauren. This is what I was telling you about how fancy this stuff is, man. Whoever this was that donated all this stuff come from one donation. This is a large Denim and Supply Ralph Lauren, like a peacoat style dress. Look at this. You see that original price on this? This is still new with tags. That's another thing about this score, guys. A lot of this stuff is still new with tags. Now, I only bought 1 Michael Kors item, for instance. There was a good bit of Michael Kors, but I don't usually pick up Michael Kors at all. I don't find that sells as good. But I did get this. This was a new with tags dress. Now, it was marked down, but it was regular price $175, and it's in perfect condition. So I went ahead and grabbed that. You know, it just blew my mind, guys, the stuff that was there. Like I said, lots of Eileen Fisher. This is Eileen Fisher. This is Lily Pulitzer. A dress. This is Free People. If you're not familiar with Free People, there's your metal tag in it. And a lot of it was vintage. This is Free People. Now, a lot of this is winter clothes. This is Anthropology. Tulle, T-U-L-L-E by Anthropology. A really, really nice cape. See the slits for the arms there. This is Free People. This is like a Navy style jacket. Free People. Tons of this stuff, guys. And again, $1 Free People again. Another dress jacket in linen. This is a whole suit, Calvin Klein size 8. Super nice skirt suit. And again, $1. I don't really buy Calvin Klein much either, but I did get that. There was 1 Calvin Klein, 1 Michael Kors piece out of everything that I bought. Everything else was mostly Free People. Here's another Free People dress jacket. Another Eileen Fisher. This is that Italian yarn. Another Eileen Fisher dress jacket. Eileen Fisher dress. Free People leggings. It just goes on and on, guys. It's crazy. And this is just 2 bags. Free People skirt. There's a few more Ralph Lauren pieces. This is a Spanx piece, a Spanx top. Again, new with tags. Tags still on it. Right here. It just blows my mind. Lily Pulitzer again right there. Eileen Fisher. So you get the picture. I don't want to bore you to death, okay? But this was a huge score for me. I mean, this is amazing. Like I said, I think I got about 100 pieces of clothing. I got 5 pair of shoes, good shoes. Like I said, one of them's a pair of Hoka tennis shoes in great shape. I had some of them are like dress shoes for women, but it was this brand I hadn't heard of that's got a really great sell through, and I would try to say it, but it's like starts with an M. I just don't remember it. It was a weird foreign name. It probably came out of the same collection, okay? And they sell for about $35 to $40 a piece. And just so many things. I got a hat I hadn't even looked up yet that was like a wool hat, dress hat, and Lord have mercy, like I said, the games and all the other stuff. And what happened, okay, so here's the story. I get up to the front, and so when I came in from the outside to start with, I had my arms so full I had to go in and get a buggy. And by the time I finished out front, my buggy, it's like the small Dollar General style buggies. It was full and then stacked up like 4 or 5 feet above the top of the buggy. And so I brought that in. I asked for permission to put it to the side. I saw the sunglasses. I thought, oh my goodness. So I asked about the sunglasses. Took care of that. They put them to the side for me. I didn't even get a buggy. I was just going to walk around real quick around the inside of the store because I was really wanting to get home quick and get back to work. But as I walk back to the back, they've got a lot of stuff that's on racks, and then they have some bins that they do kind of like Goodwill, where it's like they're made of wood, but they're smaller, but they're kind of like Goodwill. It's just clothes thrown in it. And I picked an item or two up, just taking a glance, and I saw Eileen Fisher and Free People again, and they had dumped a bunch more of it back there. I went and got a buggy, and I filled another buggy up, rounded over the top, like 5 foot higher than the buggy. And so I was in there to closing time, fishing more Free People, Eileen Fisher, Lily Pulitzer out of those bins. And it just kept coming. The more I dug, the more I found. I just ran out of time. They were literally closing the store. And I got up there at about 10 minutes to closing time, and it was in line. When it come my turn, I had those 2 buggies, and the manager lady, she was behind the counter, and she's talking to the girl that was doing the checking. And after talking for a minute, she comes around, she kind of whispers, she says, "Would you just do 100 for all of it?" And I said, yeah. I said, "Are you sure about that?" She said, "Oh yeah, that's fine with us. If you can do 100, we'll do 100 on everything. Just get you bagged up." And I said, "You're sure?" And she said, "Yeah." And she said, "We just want," this was her words, "we want to help you out. We know what you're doing. We want to be able to help you too." And I said, "Well, I really appreciate it." I said, "Yeah, I'll do that." Well, then while they're bagging it, man, I felt so guilty. And look, I didn't give them $500. I'm going to be honest, right? But I mean, I did give them another $40 because I just felt like I needed to give them something else. Now I'm going back today and I'm going to buy more, and I'll probably end up paying more today than I did the first day. But I'm so far ahead on this first batch, I don't care, and it'll help them out. So, that's just the way it goes. So here's my point. Out of everything that I've said in this video, take this to the bank. It's all about relationships. I hope you stuck around for this because that's the key. Everything else that I said, all those tips, it all goes toward this. And I'm talking about genuine, guys. I'm not talking about be fake. Don't ever think I told you to go out there and be fake. You be genuine, be real, be who you are, but build relationships, guys. There's nothing probably more important to me. If I never bought another thing there, I have made friends at that store. If I see them out in town, I say hey to them. I shake their hands. Some of those ladies, those older ladies, I may hug their necks. I mean, it's not to manipulate. It's genuine. I want to be their friend, period. I want to be good to people, period. And if you will do that, if you'll be good to people and build relationships, I'm telling you, in small towns where there's small thrift shops and small mom and pop shops, it'd go a long way. I don't get just the craziest of deals every time, but from time to time I get deals like this that's just, you just can't beat it. And I don't know what the value of all this inventory is going to be, but I'd be shocked if the majority of this stuff didn't average $20 to $30 per sale. So we're talking about, 100 items, say at $20, that's like, $2,000. And then you got the sunglasses where, counting those Chanel pair, if they sell for $250 to $300, assuming they sell for that much, there may be, $400 there. And then, maybe another $150 in the shoes, maybe another $100 in the games. You're probably looking at close to $3,000 in total value here in sales for $140 investment. Now that's a big, I know I said be fair, I'm talking about making an offer. They're the ones that offered me this price. And so, there's times I go in there, guys, and I pay $4 an item for some of the things that are seasonal that they kind of have a bigger price on. Most of the time their stuff is $250 an item. That's their base price anyway. And I pay full price a lot of the time. Most of the time I pay full price when I'm buying 8 or 10 items. And, it all comes out in the wash. And when you're able to build the relationships and then they offer you a deal like this, and they said they had tons more of this stuff in the back from the same donation, so I'm going back today. We'll see what happens. That's my tip though for today. Build relationships with your local thrift stores, guys. It'll pay off in the long run, and be genuine about it. Really try to be a friend. You know, be a positive presence in their day, and they'll be a positive presence in your day most of the time. So guys, as always, I love you. God loves you. And whatever you do, guys, don't you ever, ever give up. I'll see you on the next one. Take care until then.